So, we will take today a lovely story from our Puranas, and I will show you how this story from our Puranas connects to our own sadhana. And that is the sadhana of mental purification and meditation. What happens when we sit down in meditation? What are the obstacles in meditation? And how do we overcome them? All this is given in the form of this story. It's a well-known story, but it has lots of details that people are not aware of. This story is called Samudra Matana. So in this Samudravantana, then churning of the ocean. This story is found in the Srimad Bhagavatam, and it is found in the 8th book and discourses 5 onwards. Here the setting is that Indra Devata and the Asuras, the Devatas, are in constant battle with the Asuras. An event had taken place where Indra Devata, because of his pride and arrogance of being the king, being the chief, being in power, he became so arrogant that actually he made a grave mistake. And that mistake is that he insulted a great rishi called Durvasa Rishi. While Indra was going along on Airavata, the elephant, then the great rishi had offered him a garland. And Indra, in his arrogance and pride, put the garland on the elephant. And Durvasa Rishi considered this to be a great insult, and thus pronounced the curse that all your splendor and tejas, power that you have, will be lost. You will lose all your power. When Indra loses all his powers, then the Asuras will find it very easy to take over heaven and the 3 worlds. So this is what happened. This is what happened. Indra and the Devatas lost all their power and splendor because of their own inadvertence. Their own inadvertence. Feeling powerless, feeling weak, then they approach Brahmaji. And Brahmaji then approaches the Lord, and they pray to the Lord, Supreme Lord, Mahavishnu, that how can we get our strength back? How can we get our strength back? And long stuti is there, and nearly at the end of nearly every sentence, Prasidatam na sa mahavibhutihi, Prasidatam na sa mahavibhutihi. May you be pleased with us, may you be pleased with us, may you shower your grace upon us, O Lord. So the Lord then manifests. And when the Lord manifests, He manifests in all brilliance and beauty. Tesham a vir abut rajan sahasrarka udaya dyutihi. Having the brilliance and light of thousands of suns, in this way He manifests. Taptahe ma vadate na lasat kausheya vasasa prasanna charu sarvangi sumuki sundara bruvam. In all beauty, Bhagavan manifests. He was shining his gold, his dhoti was shining like gold. And all his limbs were charming, attractive, and most beautiful to look at. Sumukhi, his face was extremely handsome. Sundara Brahma, even his eyebrows were most attractive. So, beautiful description of Bhagavan is given there. When he comes, Brahmaji also praises him. And then, even without having to tell their problem, Bhagavan says, Vijñāyate sham hridayam tataiva. Actually, I know what is happening in your heart. I know what is going on. You feel weak, you feel ineffectual, you feel you cannot progress. So he says, I have a plan for you. Please follow my instructions. He says, you can restore your strength. How? You need to get one beautiful secret elixir. This elixir is called Amritam. You must get this Amritam. Okay? Now, how will we get this Amritam? Oh, he gives quite a few steps on how we will get this Amritam. He said, first thing is, you will need to make amends with your enemies, the Daitya Danavas. You must become friends with them. This is such a big project that just by yourself you will not be able to achieve it. So put aside all grievances and now work for one common goal and good. Okay. Now what do we do when we come together? He says, you go to what is called the Milky Ocean. And in that Milky Ocean, you take mountain called Mount Mandara. And when you take this Mount Mandara, then you will do the Mantana, churning. Around that mountain, you need a churning rope. That would be Vasuki, the big snake and serpent. You use that. And as you churn, then all of a sudden, various things will come out. And whatever these things are, don't get distracted. You keep your eye focused on your goal. Your goal is the Amritam. You get that. Other things come, if other people want them, let them have it. Don't worry about it. If Daitya Danavas want them, give them away. You need not be concerned. Okay? You keep your eye on that Amritam. Okay. So I said, yes. I said, don't worry, you won't be alone. I will be there as your friend. I will be there as your companion. I will be there as your will-wisher. I will be there. Sahaya, your Sahaya. Companion through the entire thing. I will be there. So you can call on me anytime. Yeah. And as he said, don't create any hatred or fear from other people working with you. They want something, you let them have it. Okay? Don't become greedy. Don't become jealous. You just keep your eye on that Amritam. Okay? So they agreed to this. Devata said, Tatastu. They took leave of Bhagavan and said, okay. Now the first thing they do, they had to go make friends and reconcile with Asuras. And they did that. They went to the Asuras and they made a pact, a friendship. The Asuras also intrigued by this Amritam, thinking, wow, this could be fascinating gain for us as well. So, thinking like that, they joined forces. Now the first thing they had to do was carry this mountain, Mount Mandara. And they went and got that mountain and started carrying it. As they carried it, they were carrying it for a long distance because they'd take it to the ocean. As they're carrying it, they're finding the weight of this mountain too much. They are getting exhausted. Slowly, one by one, some of them start falling down in fatigue. Some of them, the mountain starts crushing them because they can't lift it. Part of the mountain tilts and then some get crushed underneath the mountain. Seeing this take place, Bhagavan felt so bad for them. that Bhagavan himself, he came on Garuda and he then started lifting that mountain to help them. In fact, he even revived all the ones that died. Just by his glance, all of them came back to life. And he helped them carry that mountain to the ocean. They dropped the mountain in the ocean and Bhagavan flew off. Bhagavan had to fly off because when Garuda is there, Vasuki won't come. Vasuki is a snake. They're enemies. So Bhagavan left. When Bhagavan left, now they said, go get that Vasuki, tie him around the mountain and use him as this churning rope. So they did that. Vasuki also agreed. Now when they finally had tied Vasuki around the mountain and were about to churn, then the question was, who will take which end? Devatas had initially said, we will take the head, you take the tail. Oh, but Asuras were not happy with this. Why should we get the tail? We don't want tail, we want heads. It's like when people flip a coin. Whatever you say, they want that one. Say, I'll take it. No, I'll take heads. I'll take tails. No, I want tails now. Like this. There's no particular reason. They said, wait. So they swapped. Yeah? And now Asuras have the head of Vasuki and Devas have tail. They start churning. As they start churning, and then funny thing happened. That Vasuki starts getting sick actually because they're pulling him side to side. And gets so sick that actually breathes out fire. And guess who got burnt by this? Whoever was holding the head got burnt. So the people holding the head, Asuras, they got a bit singed. Their hair got taken straight off. So all of a sudden, Bhagavan calmed things down. Vasuki after some time took some antacid tablet and stomach settled. Everything was okay. Yeah. Now churning was going on. As this churning was going on, they found that the mountain was sinking. And the mountain now is sinking. So they remembered Bhagavan said that he will be their companion and support. So they prayed to Bhagavan. They said, Bhagavan, please come. Vilokya vignesha vidhim tadishwaro duranta viryo atitir bisandihi krutva vapu kachapam adbhutam mahad pravishatoyam girim ujjahara. And then Bhagavan manifested in the form of Kachapa. Kachapa means turtle. Okay, so Bole Shri Bhagavan Kachapa Bhagavan Ki Jai. Kurma avatar. Bhagavan comes as turtle. Turtle got a nice flat back. Turtle can also sit in the water for a long period of time. Perfect manifestation for the job at hand. Yeah? If he came as a shark, what are we going to do? As a shark, what can you do? A shark, how are you going to put a mountain on the back of a shark? A whale also doesn't work. Any other creature doesn't work. You needed a creature that could sit there with a solid back and you can put something on it. And also head can go up, head can go down. Can breathe some water, breathe in the air. A turtle can do both. Magnificent. So Bhagavan came as the turtle. Then they started churning. As they started churning, now what they found, another problem came. The mountain started rising so high. It started going too far into the air. So then Bhagavan also came and he put his finger on the top of the mountain and kept it down. So one point in time it was going down. Now he put it up, now it's going too far up, then put it down. So Bhagavan is on bottom, Bhagavan is on top. People are doing some churning. As they were doing churning, Bhagavan also noted they were getting tired. Seeing them get tired, then Bhagavan said he entered into them in the form of energy and vigor. And all of a sudden they got more energy. And then again, arms became strong. Churn. Oh, more churning going on. Now as the churning is going on, then something came out. Things started coming out. And the first thing that came out was this Kalakuta. This Kalakuta halahalam, poison. This poison started coming out. Yeah? And all of a sudden, the whole place became infested with this, poisonous fog. And because of this poisonous fog, poisonous gas everywhere, people breathing and dying. So they said, we need help. Again, they went back to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, help us. Poisonous gas is coming out. Bhagavan said, okay. I've been doing a lot of work. Now please ask someone else to help out. Okay? So this one, he said, please go ask Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva's Ashutosha. That means he's very quickly appeased. Yeah? He's very placid, very pleasant, and he will help you out. Okay. They went to Lord Shiva. Big prayer was there. Please come and help us. And Bhagavan said, yes, he will. Lord Shiva came and he managed to draw all that poison into his hand. That halahalam he brought to his hand, and then he drank it. As he drank that poison, it went into his throat, and his throat became blue. Nilakanta. Okay, Nilakanta. Nila, blue. Kanta, throat. Because he drank this poison. It is said as he was drinking, some little drops, they fell on the side of his hand. And those little drops, they were eaten by scorpions and snakes and spiders. And then they all went and resided in Australia after that, because Australia got the most venomous snakes and spiders in the world. So they all went down under and stayed there. Yeah. But now, okay, halahalam, done. Now let's continue on churning. Now, after this, interesting things started coming up. First thing that came out next, or the next thing that came out, was the famous wish-fulfilling cow. It's called Surabhi. Or Kamadenu. Yeah. So this wish-fulfilling cow. This cow is very famous because anything you want, shrink, it can create. It's like a genie. Anything you want, it can do. Okay. So that came out. When that came out, then they gave it to the rishis. They gave that to the rishis. The rishi munis took that. Yeah. They could use that for all their yajna, yagas, worship and sacrifice. Okay. Next thing that came out, Uchchaishrava. Uchchaishrava, horse. One special horse came out. Bali said, I want that. Bali Chakravarti was the king of the Asuras. Yeah, I want that. I want a nice horse. Melbourne Cup is coming up in November. So, good horse. Maybe I can win some, races with this horse. So, Uchchaishrava was taken. After that, the elephant, Airavata. No one claimed it, so Indra managed to take Airavata. Then like this, various different things came. Parijata tree also came. That's another wish-fulfilling thing. You can also create whatever you want out of it. And then finally, Rama, Lakshmi. Lakshmi came out. That's why Lakshmi is called Samudravantana, because she also born of the ocean. This ocean churning, Lakshmi comes out. Oh, when that Lakshmi came out, everyone was staring at her. And there's quite a lot of verses about her beauty. How beautiful she was, how magnificent she was. Many of them wanted to marry her and all that, but nothing doing. She had her eyes somewhere else. And she said, you people, I'm not going to marry you people. The one up there, I'll marry him. So she went, and she put garland on Mahavishnu. But married. They got married. Oh! Asuras and Devas a little bit disheartened because, but this was not the prize. You have to remember, this is not why you came here. You didn't come here to get married. You came here to get Amritam. You have to keep on remembering, why did you come here? Sometimes that happens. People go for one purpose, get distracted, didn't forget other purpose. Yeah. So you came here. Sometimes people go for ashram to get knowledge, get distracted by food and chai. Chai only they get distracted. Where's the tea? So because of going after tea, they forget the class. These things happen. So here, going for Amritam, and now Rama has come, Lakshmi. No, she got married to Mahavishnu. Okay, very good. More things kept coming out, and eventually, one beautiful, stunning form. One man came out. God. Yeah? And this was Dhanvantari. And this Dhanvantari looked exactly like Mahavishnu. And he was carrying one kalasha. And in that kalasha is the Amritam. That is the Amritam. That's what we want. Now what happened? When that kalasha came out, Asuras noticed, they knew what this was. They quickly snatched it. The Asuras snatched away that Amritam, and they went. Now gods again. What can they do? They prayed to Bhagavan. Bhagavan, help us. We only followed your entire plan. And now it has failed. The Asuras have taken out Amritam. It was bad enough that we missed so many things such as Lakshmi. We missed the horse for the horse races. We missed the cow. We missed the tree. We missed so many things. And now we also miss Amritam. Bhagavan, please, come on, do something. So Bhagavan said, okay, I'll help you out. He said, I will come as one extremely beautiful lady. They weren't sure how this was going to help the situation. But he said, wait, I will come as extremely beautiful lady. And I will be so beautiful that every creature will get deluded and confused because of my beauty. Therefore, I'll become Mohini. Mohini means the one who is able to enchant, fascinate. But I will be able to fascinate the entire universe. So I will be Vishwa Mohini. See, some people, when they get dressed up, they can look like Mohini. But Vishwa Mohini is very difficult. They can be Mohini for the room. Kamara Mohini. But to be Vishwa Mohini, that is wherever you go. You can enchant every creature. That only Bhagavan can do. So we can be party Mohini, we can be cinema Mohini, we can be shopping center Mohini, or whatever you go to Mohini. But Vishwa Mohini, only Bhagavan can be Vishwa Mohini. Everyone was fascinated. So Bhagavan said, when I come as this Vishwa Mohini, what are you going to do as a Vishwa Mohini? These Asuras become so fascinated with me that I'll be able to get that Amritam from them and I will give to you. Okay. So Asuras now had the Amritam, but the Asuras, they were fighting amongst each other. Because they were fighting amongst each other, they never drank it actually. They never drank. They were too busy. In-house fighting going on. This happens a lot. That when one team achieves their goal, then within that team they start fighting as to who got all the credit and who is the main person, who's the main star. This happens. So now in-house fighting taking place. No one drank the Amritam. So now Vishwa Mohini came. And when Vishwa Mohini came, in the cartoons they used to show this, that when a very attractive person came, his eyes would jump out of his sockets and his jaw would drop all the way to the ground. I think that's what happened to these people. Eyes came out and jaw dropped. He was so fascinated. She then walked very nicely towards the Asuras, and she said, this pot you have in your hand, it's a nice pot. Can I hold this pot? Give me this kalasha. Okay. They say, okay. Because when people are so overwhelmed and fascinated by someone, they'll do anything for them. Okay, they gave. And then she said, don't worry, I will give. But first, let us all sit down in one neat order. So she got everyone to sit down. And she said, one side, Devatas. Other side, Asuras. And she then started walking down that aisle and she started giving that nectar to everyone. Again. Now, what did she do? She started with Devatas. And she started giving Devatas all that Amritam. One Asura, he noticed this and he said, she's not coming to our side very often. They thought they were one side. Nothing. She said, I'll do one side only. In a wedding also they do that. They do one whole side first and then come and do the other side. You don't go side to side. It creates a lot of tamasha, knocking each other over and all that. One side first, second side. So she said, I will do Devatas. This Asura got a bit impatient. He jumped across. He jumped from Asura line into Devata line. And he sat in between Surya and Chandra, sun and moon. He just squeezed himself in between. Some people do this when you're sitting on the floor at a function that's very crowded. Some people, they sit and they squeeze themselves, and some are experts. They can go all the way from the back of the hall and end up in the front of the hall. And you're like, how did that person get there? But they have this way of squeezing and contorting their body so they go all the way. So in the same way, this Asura did that. His name was Rahu. And he squeezed and he sat there. Then Vishwamohini, she actually was looking at the Asuras but giving it to Devatas. Because she was looking at Asuras, they were just so fascinated. They were quite happy with that. As this is going on, as she's going down the queue, finally it comes to this Rahu. And she gives to that Rahu actually drinks it. Then this Surya and Chandra complain and say, hey, Bhagavati, this is not a Devata, this is Asura. Oh, she said, you are in the wrong queue. You are not supposed to be here. Her justice was a bit swift. Sudarshan Chakra came out and the head of that Asura came off. She cut the head of Rahu. But now what happened is, Rahu had drunk that Amritam, but it did not go into his body. It got stuck there. So when she cut the head has got that Amritam, nectar of immortality, but body doesn't have. So that head continues to live on and travels around. And because this head has got told on by who? The snitches. There were two snitches. The snitches were Surya and Chandra. They told. So then that head spends most of its time chasing this Surya and Chandra, sun and moon, and trying to devour it. And that's what we call solar and lunar eclipse. When Rahu goes and swallows up the moon and the sun. There's something to say. So in this way, after that, all the nectar was given to the gods. And by the time she came to the Asuras, pot was empty. Nothing left only. Nothing left, no refill. This is one of our biggest concerns when you're at that wedding. When you're at that wedding and they're giving out some very nice food, whether it's hot vade or whether it's jalebi, and then by the time they get to you, finished. And then that person goes back to the kitchen and sometimes you never see, he never comes back. So it's very distressing. So in the same way, Asuras were very distressed by this, got very upset, and next thing you know, one fight starts, and big fight starts, and eventually Asuras are vanquished by the more powerful Devatas. Devatas then go back and inhabit the heavens, and rule over the heavens and the three worlds, Bhurbhuva, Suvaha, and things go back to normal for a period of time. Now this is the story. Okay. Now you have to ask yourself, this story then, how does it help us in our meditation? Okay. This is what's very important. Gurudev himself has given a very long, detailed explanation, some of those points I have here, about how this story is to be understood in the seat of our meditation. So this whole churning, The churning of this ocean really is the churning of our mind. That's what's happening here. In meditation, contemplation, see, meditation doesn't mean just seated meditation. It is mananam, nididyasanam, samadhi. Okay? It can also be, meditation can also be on form of Lord. So, saguna upasana also. So sometimes we do saguna upasana, we meditate upon God with form and we just chant His name. In this, you don't need to have much knowledge. You just take the image of the Lord, Sri Krishna or whoever, your Ishta Devata, Lord Shiva, Devi, whatever, and you just chant a mantra and you try to consistently maintain an unbroken train of thought on that object. That is what meditation is. Maintaining a consistent flow of thought upon a single object. But the object should be one that is given from Shastra. That's what technically is the definition in our scriptures. So one is called upasana. Upasana is when you take God with form and you don't necessarily have knowledge or understanding of the tattva, the essence of that form. You know its name, you know its form, but you don't know its tattva. Tattva is not known. You don't need to know it. And you bring your mind continuously to the name and form, even the gunas. The gunas are also okay. Nama, Rupa, Guna, Dhamma. Any of these things you can meditate upon. But Tattva will not be there. Okay. So this is called Upasana. That's in traditional Vedic language. Otherwise we call it Japa. We call it, in our Bhakti Marga, we call this Japa or meditating. So we use meditation for a lot of things. This is a challenge. So we will call this Upasana. It's called Saguna Upasana. The other form of meditation is called Nididyasanam. It's a jnana sadhana. It's a practice of knowledge. So in this, we may start with name and form, but eventually we have to move towards tattva. We have to come to understand what is the essence of that object. The object can either be an image in your mind or a sound. And that's what Dridrisha Vivek is going to move on to. Meditation upon object or meditation upon sound. Either one is possible. So we can take a symbol and we can start doing Nididyasanam of that. But eventually you have to inquire, what is the nature of that symbol? Swarupam must be understood. Tattva has to be understood. And my relationship with it must also be understood. And with the essence of the Supreme, Satchidananda. The essence of me, Satchidananda. They are one and the same. So in Nididyasanam, the relationship of oneness must be established. In Upasana, relationship of difference can be maintained. You don't need to establish oneness with God in Upasana. But you need to establish oneness with Satchidananda Swarupa in Nididyasanam. That's a jnana sadhana. Okay? So these are the two types of what we commonly call meditations that go on. The purpose of Upasana is to purify the mind. Purify the mind. So that it becomes fit for Nididyasanam. So Upasana is first, Nididhyasana is second. Okay? Now, let us come back to the meaning behind this story. Churning of the mind, we see in the story churning of Milky Ocean. What is the color of milk? White. In the Shastra, white is the color given to the Sattva Guna. Sattva guna. When we say guna, we're talking to the mode of expression of the mind. The mind in purity, the mind peaceful, the mind which is filled with good virtues, noble character, quality. This is called the sattvic mind. The asuras represent doubt, samshaya, doubt. Even in a sattvic mind, there can be doubt. This doubt is the number one saboteur in our project of meditation, spirituality. Doubt is the number one saboteur in any project. No project works if people have doubt. Whether you have doubt over your teammate, doubt over the goal, doubt over your own capacity, doubt destroys everything. So asuras represent doubt. The devatas represent what's called paroksha jnanam, theoretical knowledge. Theoretical knowledge of the Supreme. So they know and understand the Supreme but have not experienced it yet. So paroksha jnana is when we understand God but we have not experienced God. So they understand God but they have not tasted that immortality. Amritam they don't have. Yeah? So even in our mind, we are all studying Dridrisha Vivek, we are learning these qualities, Asti Bhati Priyam Rupam, Namachet, Amsha Panchakam. We are learning all these things. But to know that Brahman is Asti Bhati Priyam Satchidananda, to know that Brahman is Satchidananda, that's called Paroksha Jnanam. But to know that I am that Brahman, that is Satchidananda, and that is Aparoksha Jnanam. I am that. That's called Aparoksha. So here the devatas, which are Paroksha, are trying to become Aparoksha. Have the experience of Amritam. Now into that Milky Ocean, Mount Mandara is put. Mount Mandara represents the sound symbol Om. Om. We have seen in Kathopanishad that Om is the best alambanam, support, pratika, idol for the seeker. So we put that Om symbol, sound or chant of Om or symbol of Om in the sattvic mind, and now we are doing the churning, which means repetition of that sound. Now, for the more advanced seekers, they take Om. For the less advanced seekers, you can take the form of God. You can take the name of God. Whatever name of God that is, you can take that as your support. What is it? Krishna, Rama, Devi, whatever it is, Shiva, you can take that. But in the advanced seeking, then in the Upanishads we find that Om Upasana, Om meditation is prescribed. Yeah. So that represents Mount Mandara. Then we see Bhagavan has come in the form of Kurma avatar. And this Kurma, the turtle upon which the entire project is taking place. That turtle represents the one quality and sadhana which is the main sadhana and support throughout your entire meditation experience or spiritual progress, and that is called Shraddha. Shraddha. Faith. It is faith and it is Shraddha that becomes the support of all, your spiritual progress. And that's why Bhagavan Bhashika has written that it is Paramam Sadhanam Shraddha. And Yaya Vastu Upalabhyate. By this Shraddha, one will gain Brahman, moksha. So, Kurma represents Shraddha. Bhagavan is sitting on top. And he is holding the mountain down. Bhagavan on top. God or immortality is the goal. That's the goal. To move away from our Jiva Swarupa, finitude, towards the divine nature. To go from mundane towards divine. And we see throughout all this episode, Bhagavan keeps helping, Bhagavan keeps supporting. Every time there's a problem, Bhagavan comes, isn't it? We saw when the mountain, first of all, when they were weak, they didn't know what to do, they asked Bhagavan. Bhagavan gave them a plan. Then they got the plan. He said, get the mountain. They couldn't carry the mountain. Bhagavan came and helped. Then they put the mountain in the ocean, it sank. He came as a turtle. Yeah. Then they went too high, he came and put his hand on top. Then they got tired, he infused them with energy. Then finally the Amritam came, they lost it. Yeah, and he only reclaimed it. At all stages, Bhagavan is present. And it is by his support, by his sahayena, he said, his support, that they are able to achieve this goal. His support, his assistance. What does that represent? That is God's grace. At all stages, we must have God's grace. The grace of God is required on our entire spiritual journey. At no point in time can we achieve things without that. See, each time you progress in a sadhana, what happens is when you take it up, it's a bit difficult, it's a bit tough. Then as you start doing it, you get into a routine. As you get into a routine, it becomes easy. And then what happens is it's time to go to the next level. And whenever you have to go to the next level, that can be quite unclear. That can sometimes be difficult. It requires a change in your thinking, a change in your routine. And to positively, fearlessly, courageously embrace this new routine and change, we definitely need grace of God. Without grace of God, that change to make is tough. And that's why you find, even as seekers, we can become very lazy and comfortable with sadhana. That we've just been doing puja for years, so we continue doing puja. Or we've only done so much japa, so we just continue with so much japa. Some people don't go from puja, ritualism, into japa. And some people don't go from japa into nididyasanam, contemplation. They're just very comfortable doing their japa and they don't move into self-inquiry. So each level we can get stuck. Some people are stuck in seva. That from seva they don't take up any sadhana. They're happy to do seva, but they don't do any sadhana. Then I said, in the sadhana, we can get caught at one level. Some people like chanting one thing and they only chant that one thing and never give it up. They'll never give up that sadhana. Yeah? No, you have to keep progressing in your sadhanas, and that does require a lot of courage. And grace of God is required. Because through the grace of God, what happens? The greatest blessings we get from God is that we get Guru. Because Guru is the most important person that will guide you in your sadhana. That Guru here is in the form of Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva. And it is well known that Lord Shiva represents Guru, even in Tulsi Ramayana. Vande Bodhamayam Nityam Gurum Shankara Rupinam. I do namaskar to that Lord Shiva, who is Guru. Guru has come, Lord Shiva has come in form of Guru. Yeah. So, now what did that Lord Shiva do? He had to remove one poison. That poison was a halahalam. Halahalam was the poison. Now, this comes now into subtle aspects of the meditation. In meditation, there are 4 blocks which come when we take up meditation. This is given in Vedanta Sar text. 4 obstacles in meditation come. One of them is nidra, sleep, or laya. That means mind goes into this, gets tired. Some people have this, that whenever they sit for meditation, they get everything, the whole place set up beautifully. Incense, nice candles, place is clean. Even enough time, stopwatch, everything is done perfectly. Flowers on the altar. And they sit, they do all their yoga asanas to stretch their legs. Sit down, cushion is there, everything nicely set. Temperature perfectly controlled. Doors, everyone out of the house. Sit down. And head keeps dropping. So this laya or sleep, nidra, comes because the seeker is not used to a quiet mind. See, throughout our day, we're very used to rajasic mind. Rajasic mind, constantly something is happening. And such a mind, when all of a sudden it goes into quietude and calmness, it thinks, oh, it's time to go to sleep. It becomes very tired because it's not used to being alert and quiet. It's used to being alert and active. So that's why this nidra comes in our sadhana, because we're very used to rajogun. In sattva gun, you will find mind is quiet. And when mind is quiet, you still have to remain alert. So that hala represents this nidra, laya. It's called laya. The other thing, it is called kashaya. Kashaya is a second block in meditation. Obstacle in meditation. Stabdi bhavam. And what that means is, we have certain mental blocks in meditation that we get caught in. We go to a certain level or depth in our meditation, we get stuck. We just can't seem to penetrate deeper or deeper. We just get caught at that block. So we hear many things. When we come to apply it, we can apply some of them, and then we just don't seem to be able to break a certain barrier. There's a certain barrier which we just can't get through. This happens to everyone. Everyone's barrier is different. Yeah? So some people may get caught in the saguna rupa. And they'll find that saguna rupa they enjoy. But from saguna to nirguna, not able to get through. Not able to drop form and see Bhagavan as Satchidananda Rupaya, and that Satchidananda is me. Sometimes we meditate. Some people, they like to practice meditation individually, and what they can find is they can feel that they are consciousness. They can feel that. They can feel even existence. But Ananda doesn't come. Sat and Chit comes, but Ananda doesn't come. So they're able to meditate upon themselves as existence. They're able to meditate upon themselves as consciousness, but they can't meditate upon themselves as Ananda. And therefore the mind becomes again, goes extroverted, seeking for happiness outside. Each seeker will have their own block. Yeah? How do we overcome that block? You need grace of Guru. Grace of Guru comes in the form of discourse, inspiration, some personal upadesh, and sometimes just presence. Presence of Guru can unlock that block. And that's what happens. This hala is there, poison, and now Lord Shiva drinks it up. So 2 obstacles now removed. What happens after that? We find that after the halahal, then what we find is that various articles start coming out. The wish-fulfilling cow, Surabhi, Parijata, tree, Uchchai, Shravas, Airavata, the horse, the elephant, all these are things of great opulence, things of great desire. Even Lakshmi comes out. These are things of great beauty, attraction. And this represents the 3rd obstacle in meditation, and the 3rd obstacle is called vikshepa, distraction. So distraction is another obstacle in meditation. That even if we remain awake, even if we get past a few blocks, sometimes we get very distracted. And here, distractions can be at different levels. There can be mundane distractions, work, some email that has to be done, anxiety over family, children. These are mundane things. These are very mundane things. Then, as a seeker becomes evolved, you have other distractions which are called siddhis. These siddhis are supernatural powers that start coming to your mind as it becomes more purified. So as your mind becomes more purified, different siddhis come. And in Hanuman Chalisa, Ashta Siddhi Navanidike Data. 8 siddhis are given. Yeah. Of those siddhis, Ishitvam, Prakamya, Vashitvam. These ones are very tricky. Ishitvam means the capacity to lord over people, to become a ruler, to become powerful, to have command over people. Yeah. These are subtle things that happen to us. Vashitvam, the capacity to control people. You can actually control people, influence them. Prapti prakamya. Prakamya and prapti refer to the ability to actually attain anything you want. That as per your wish, you can manifest that thing. Now, this is very advanced levels of meditation. That's why we are not even aware of any of these things. We have difficulty enough trying to get a morning chai or breakfast, a hot breakfast in the morning. Prapti prakamya is very weak, right? But as you become more evolved spiritually, then actually whatever you desire can actually manifest in this world. Now you've heard what's it called? Law of attraction. Yeah. Now law of attraction means as you think, basically, so you can make it happen, or so you become. Now what happens is, as your mind becomes more and more single-pointed, not necessarily purified, single-pointed. As mind becomes more single-pointed, which will happen in meditation because you're repeating the same thought again and again and again and again. As you become more single-pointed, it gains more power. As it gains more power, the power of the mind comes in the form of its ability to think and create at very rapid succession. This is the power of the mind. That the minute it thinks of something, that thing manifests. It is called Sankalpa Shakti. Sankalpa Shakti means as that person gives that thought, it can manifest in the world outside. This happens to seekers as we progress because mind is becoming more concentrated, more powerful. It's like when you get a magnifying glass and you put a magnifying glass in the sun, and all the rays of the sun which are dispersed now all of a sudden start concentrating on one point. When all the rays of the sun concentrate on one point, what happens? that diffuse light and heat now has the ability to ignite objects. That concentrated power can now ignite things, burn things. But when sunlight falls on the ground or on paper, nothing happens. On dried leaf and grass, nothing happens. But magnifying glass is put there, the same light now can set that grass or leaves or paper ablaze. Same way, as we meditate, mind becomes more concentrated. And as it becomes more concentrated, any thought that enters, it can manifest that thought. And that's why as we progress spiritually, our alertness is more and more important. We become more and more alert of every thought that enters into the mind. That's why Gurudev would say, alertness and vigilance is the price you have to pay. Yeah? So, this is called Vikshepa. This is the third obstacle in meditation that's given by this Surabhi and Parijata tree. Because Surabhi, wish-fulfilling cow, wish-fulfilling tree. Anything you want, they can manifest. And that's why, what did they do? They gave it to the rishis. Give it to those people of spiritual eminence who know how to handle this. They gifted that away. Surrender. What that means is surrender these things. Don't become distracted by them. Don't become distracted by them. And then we saw after that, the Amritam came, but before they could attain the Amritam, it was lost to the Asuras. And then who had to come? Vishwamohini came. Vishwamohini, the most pleasing, enchanting form, has come in front of them. This is the fourth and final obstacle in meditation, and it's called Rasaswada. Rasaswada. Aswada means taste, relish. Swadu, swadu. That means tasty, beautiful food, swadu, swadu. Swadannam. That's the most beautiful, tasty, tasty food. This Rasaswada stands for Savikalpa Ananda. When a person starts relishing and reveling just in that Savikalpa Samadhi. Savikalpa Samadhi means duality, meditation with duality. That means you're meditating upon the object, which could be God, and you are enjoying it so much that you don't take up the next stage, which is Nirguna Brahman, inquiry into Nirguna Brahman. Because you're enjoying Saguna Brahman so much that the person doesn't even want to leave that state. It can happen when you're chanting the name of the Lord. It can happen when you're just seeing the form of God. I'm getting so much happiness and my mind is so peaceful. And people love that. And what happens is when we get attracted, fascinated, and really addicted to this, what happens is we don't move to the next level. And that next level is understanding I am that. I am that doesn't take place. We see beauty, we see delight, and we revel in the divine form. But the minute we have to open our eyes and get back into this world, we find it very difficult. Why? Because we feel that we are separated from the divine. And so we want to spend more time locked up in our room of meditation, protected from the world of samsara. And the minute we come out, we end up feeling so empty. And we become frustrated because we're not able to get that divine joy when we are interacting in the world outside. This is an obstacle for seekers. Because a lot of people, most seekers are actually taking up meditation for peace of mind. Very few are taking it up for moksha, realization of who I am. Most people will get caught in peace of mind, which means if I have a good meditation session, I'm happy. That's enough. And what's a good meditation session? When I walk out feeling very blissful and peaceful. So I want peace of mind. Peace of mind still belongs to what? The mind, not Atma. We have not gained Atma Ananda. We have gained Mana Shantihi. Mana Shanti, peace of mind. Atma Ananda, bliss of self. Peace of mind will be lost. You cannot maintain peace of mind. So when you leave the seat of meditation and go into the world, your mind will become ashanta. It will. Because, one, the objects of the world will impinge upon it and change its mood. So you will go from a sattvic environment of your prayer room into the rajasic environment of meeting family, friends, or workplace. And even if the world doesn't disturb you, from within, different gunas manifest. Rajoguna comes, tamoguna comes from within, and they unsettle the mind. So the mind again becomes ashanta. Now, in the highest seat of meditation, we are not trying to gain manashanti. We are trying to recognize that I, the Atma, am Ananda. I am bliss itself. And if I am bliss, that also means I am not the mind. I am Atma, I am not Manaha. Mano buddhyahankara chittani naham. Na aham mana buddhi chitta ahankara. I am not any of these. Who am I? Chidananda rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. Chidananda rupaha Shivoham Shivoham. I am pure consciousness bliss. I am not the mind. This is the subtlest step for seeker to understand. That when you think you're the mind, you'll be very happy with manashanti. And you become frustrated as your journey goes along because you can't maintain manashanti. It's not possible. Gunas have to change. Even for a realized enlightened master, the gunas change. The gunas of an enlightened master's mind also changes. And that's why you will see sometimes they're sitting very peacefully, calmly giving satsang. And sometimes this rajogun comes and they want to go on yatras and they want to start projects. All this rajogun has come into the mind. And then sometimes they will be tired. Tamogun has come to the mind. What is the difference between them and us? They are not identified with the mind. They know that even when Rajogun is there, I am Ananda. When Sattva Gun is there, I am Ananda. When Tamo Gun is there, I am Ananda. At no point in time do they mistake themselves for the guna of the mind. So in the final obstacle in meditation is this rasaswada, where we become enchanted and fascinated with peace of mind. And to go beyond this, we're to continue our vichar. That what is the source of that happiness? And then finally recognize I am the source of that happiness. I am that. Ananda Atma Brahma Pucham Pratishta. Atma Krida Atmariti Kriyavan. Upanishads say many times, Atma is of the nature of Ananda. That Atma is me, that is me, that is me. Yeah. So finally, when this obstacle is overcome, the Vishwamohini Rasaswada, then person comes to understand, I am not interested in Manashanti, I am interested in Ananda Atma. And when they come to realize that I am the source of bliss, I am bliss, yeah, then that is called drinking the Amritam. That is attaining Amritam, which finally Devas get. Devas get that Amritam and they are restored back to their position, which means we go back to our divine nature. Okay, so in this way, I shared this story. But this story, you see how much depth there is and how it can be applied in our meditation. If I was just to give you these points, it would be a little bit boring. But you see the beauty of our mysticism. This is called mysticism, where various symbols and stories are used to convey subtle spiritual changes and practices within us. Okay? So meditate upon this. Some of you have written down some notes, so now you will also know how this will, how you can apply this in your own sadhana. Okay? So, like I said, the next topic coming up for us in that Drigdrishya Vivek will be on meditation. So therefore I want to just give an overview, then after that we will take that up. Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.